Welcome to the best Juno guide, perfect for beginners, returning players, or anybody that's taken an interest in wanting to play Juno, maybe becoming a Juno main. Perhaps you played another role and you decided, you know what, I want to try out Juno. So let's not waste any time and get straight into Juno's kit. So Juno's kit starts off with the Mediblaster. This is the little weapon that she's running around with. And here's what the Mediblaster does. It is a burst fire weapon. It shoots out three, shots, and that shots can either heal allies or damage enemies. So what does that look like in action? So over here, let's say this bot is crit, I can heal them up like this. Now, obviously, remember guys, we are in the 250 HP pool era at the time of recording this video. So the bots only have 200 HP. So the breakpoints might not look the same as they would in the game with actual character models. Now, Juno can also aim at enemies and shoot at them with her weapon. So obviously, if you're shooting your teammates, you're healing them. If you are shooting the enemy, you're going to be damaging them. Alright, moving over to Juno's second ability called Pulsar Torpedoes. Pulsar Torpedoes is pressing the right click button will allow you to enter the lock-on state where you can lock on to enemies and then press left click to fire homing projectiles. If you lock on to the enemy, you will be damaging them. If you lock on to allies, you'll be healing them. And yes, you can do multiple targets at once. So check this out real quick. I'm going to lock on to all these targets. Check that out. Fire up some healing, fire up some poke damage. And that's what the Pulsar Torpedoes look like. Now, thankfully, the Pulsar Torpedoes, again, as of recording this, during her early access, they're actually not that powerful. The damage on them is relatively low, and it should be kept that way because this is an auto-aim ability. It's a great way to top off your teammates, and it's a great heal over time. And I'll explain the best way to use these in a little bit. Now, the next thing is two things I want to talk about because they go hand in hand. Number one is Juno's passive. When she's airborne, you can press space to double jump and hold space to hover. And then her glide boost. So her glide boost looks something like this. She just moves horizontally in place. And then her passive, the first jump, the double jump, and now you can hover, right? So again, what that looks like is one jump, second jump, and now you can start hovering. It's decently fast. It's similar to Echo's. And the best way to utilize her movement is, one jump, second jump, and then start. Whoops, that is the wrong button. I think I need to watch my own guides in order to learn better how to play the hero. But she can start pressing shift and moving around. I got a bit too excited about wanting to tell you guys about Hyper Ring. And spoilers alert, now that you know what it looks like, Hyper Ring is a ring that allows you to increase movement speed of allies that pass through it. Now, there's some fun things to know about this ability as well. First of all, when Juno releases this ability, she herself doesn't have to pass through the Hyper Ring. So as you can see, I will get the speed boost as I'm releasing it. So as I release this, you can see the effects are on my screen. I'm already in speed boost, but then I can pass through the ring and reset the speed boost. Now over there, I did it at the last second. So we'll just wait for the hyper ring to come back online. And then you can constantly reset the speed boost cooldown that you get. So I have the speed boost here, and then I can pass through the ring again and reset the speed and then do it again. Now, that is very, very good. Finally, to top off Juno's kit is going to be her ultimate called the Orbital Ray. So how is Orbital Ray effectively used? Okay, so first of all, before I talk about that, we will talk about that in a little bit later into the video, is Orbital Ray is you call down a ray that travels forward, healing allies and increasing the damage. Now, this is, in my opinion, one of the most versatile support ultimates in the game. You can use this in many ways. You can use this to start an engagement and start a team fight. You can use this to counter ultimates because it's basically a budget transcendence. So what happens when the ray comes down is, well, let me show you. It's this ginormous circle that comes down and moves forward slowly for 9 seconds. And what this does, it does a lot of healing. It does 90 healing a second. So it's like a budget transcendence. And while it's doing that, it's giving you a 35% damage boost, if I'm not mistaken. So you could even argue it's more like a buffed up Valkyrie or maybe a buffed up transcendence that could damage boost. I don't know. Like, you can view it whatever way you want, but it is very useful. You can also use it to counter ultimates like 𝐒𝐈𝐍𝐿, Dragon Blade, and all sorts of other things. And yeah, honestly, I've been like, if you're defending, you should try to use it more defensively. That if the enemy commits to an engagement, then you bring up your orbital ray and start applying some pressure with it. Or if you're attacking with it, then you should definitely use it to start a team fight and help your tank push in. Now the question becomes, who does Juno fit in with the best? Juno, her playstyle is actually really simple and straightforward. She's really not that overly complex of a hero than that a lot of us thought she was going to be. And I'll talk about it in just a moment. But Juno's kit, she works the best with brawl tanks. So your tanks like Reinhardt, Ramatra, she can fit in well with Orisa. I guess you could say even Mauga, Junker Queen, Zarya. These type of brawl or brawl tanks that can also fit into rush comms with Lucio. She is the best with them, especially with Reinhardt and Ramatra. Giving them that speed ring so they can run it down mid and just destroy everything is hilarious to watch from a Juno player's perspective. Now, number two, she is okay with dive characters like Winston, Doomfist, Diva. She's not that bad with poke comms either, but like you can make her work in them. It's just you're never gonna get her max potential, but she's okay in them. Like she's definitely a character that maybe you potentially can force, but as always, you should know when to swap off of her. If she's not working, she's not working. Swap to something to help your teammates. Sometimes you don't need the speed or the orbital ray. Sometimes you might need a Zen or Iliari or Kiriko, Baptiste. So be sure to expand your hero pool outside of the realms of just Juno. But enough of that. How do we play Juno into team fights? And honestly, I'm only really going to use one example because, like I said, the hero is really not that overly complicated. You could even argue that she's mostly heal botting, like, just heal botting, wasting her time heal botting, and then there's a few moments where she can perhaps poke and do some damage, but the hero is kind of a little bit more heal bot focused until her ultimate comes online or when her right click is up. So, with that being said, I'm going to pop over to a VOD now and we'll talk about how to play Juno irregardless of attack or defense. Right, so here we are with Juno, and I want to first explain my positioning. So over here, the way I like to position with Juno more often than not is I really want to be as behind of the team as I can be, but not too far back. Over here, I had a bit of a later start, but it's okay. I'm about to catch up to my team anyway. And the reason you want to be as far back to your team as possible is maximizing your Pulsar Torpedo use. I feel like a lot of people that play Juno are not maximizing the Pulsar Torpedoes the way they're meant to. As you can see over here, I catch potentially 4 targets, my Cass, my Kiri, my Hanzo, and that Tracer over there. So it'll just take a moment. You see it locked onto that Tracer. And now I'm going to heal a lot of people and also poke at this Tracer just a little bit, forcing her recall and forcing her to, play a little bit more passive. So then from that point on, I just want to stay behind my team in order to have enough line of sight to start healing everybody and maybe applying a little bit of poke damage. Again, her damage isn't anything spectacular. Like, you can just tickle at the enemy if you need to, but more often than not, you do want to just support your tank and your teammates as best as possible. Again, remember guys, I've been seeing and noticing this a lot throughout this little playtest is a lot of Juno players are not maximizing her right click. As soon as that right click comes online, try to use it as much as you can. Even if you're poking at the enemy with it, you can use the flight. You'll see me do that in just a moment. You can use the fly for different things. Now, another thing over here is because we got a little bit pressured, we took a 5-strike. I felt like maybe Ryan will push us. I put my speed up just so I can disengage faster. Maybe if our Ryan, he's a little bit out of line of sight, things won't go well. I bring up the speed a little bit earlier because I'm like, okay, maybe we can just use it to disengage. And fortunately for me, my Ryan didn't need to disengage. This is a Reinhardt player that I'm just not communicating with, so I just have to, take the stance and liberty of predicting what he might or may not do. But that's just something like for me to play it safe and get me and my support out. Remember, you can use speed ring for a lot of different things. You shouldn't just tie it to, well, I will use it to get my tank in or get my tank out. There's going to be scenarios where you might need to use it for yourself, and you must be able to do that. Even that enemy Juno used it, for herself. Her tank wasn't able to use it to get out. Now over here, we've won the tank war, so obviously my Kiriko gets a fantastic kill on the Tracer, and now we just, run it down mid and get onto the point. I try to secure the kill on Diana, but her damage can be a little bit weak sometimes, so we're able to capture the point and now hold this point. And now I'm just gonna quickly, pass over this little healing to my team. Use the little speed to kind of get back into position. I'm not worried about the fact that I used it over there, simply because the enemy team will still reset, and by the time they all get together for a team fight, I will have my ability back. Now try to poke at this Tracer. Unfortunately, a tiny hitbox got her out of the way. We were able to get the kill. I tried to use the Pulsar rockets over there again to just maximize that potentially I could catch the Tracer. Now, once again, here's my speed ring. So we're using the speed ring to get in and out. Help my Cassidy get in over there. We secured the kill. I secured the kill over here with the Pulsar Torpedo on the enemy Kiriko. And now we can get out. So mostly, as you can see, like, I'm trying to use it in these like areas where I can use them to get my team in, but also in a spot that perhaps if things don't go our way, they can use it to also get out. So that's definitely something to keep in mind. Now, locked onto the Tracer over here, gave her some poke, and I think we're able to either force her out or one of the teammates secures a kill on her. That Tracer is committing really hard. She should definitely consider backing out. Now, I give the speed to my Rhine over here to go in, and he does utilize it really, really well. So this is where that type of, play style for the speed works out, and that speed boost takes us in to land a nice Earth Shatter, and I'm able to confirm 2 kills, and I believe I get the third one right here as well. So that is how you can play Juno. I did my little best in this one clip. I felt like this is the best clip I had at the moment, showcasing the different ways you can use the speed ring. Sometimes for your tank to get in, get out. Sometimes for yourself to get in, get out. Sometimes to help your teammates get into an area that they need to. I feel like all 3 examples were shown. Now the question is, well, what is the best way to use Juno's ultimate? And that is what I'm going to be talking about through multiple examples that I'm going to show on the video right now. So let's do some editing magic, and I will see you in a teamfight example where we use Juno's ultimate. Now here's the first example of a Juno ultimate. This is to enable a more aggressive play. Obviously my Reinhardt over here is wanting to look for an Earth Shatter. As you can see on the top left, he has his Earth Shatter. I have my, Orbital Ray, and I'm like, all right, Reinhardt, like, even though I can't talk to you, I can't, speak to you in any ways, great skin. So let's enable this playstyle. So the way that I'm going to position myself is, as soon as the Rhine begins to walk up, look for his Earth Shatter, I am going to give him that Orbital Ray. So, increasing his chances of success and hope things work out. So here we go. Give him a little bit of a wave. He understands the assignment, and so do I. He's now, just trying to peek in and see where the enemy is. And at this point, I just have to play a little bit careful, see if I can get a bit cheeky with some poke over there. Maximizing that right-click uptime, guys. Enable the Orbital Ray, give him the speed boost, get him in there, there comes the speed, here comes the damage boost, big shatter, and we're able to confirm some kills, and we basically won the game at that point. So that is one way that you can utilize, the Orbital Ray. Now let's look at it another way of how to utilize an Orbital Ray. Now over here, we're going to be looking at my next use of Orbital Ray. This is what I'm talking about, of using it in a more budget transcendence-like fashion. The Orbital Ray is really good at keeping your teammates alive and extending out fights, and not a lot of people use it like that. Everybody's pretty much using it to make pushes, but if you are defending, I wanted to focus on this a little bit more. If you are defending, you can use it to just maximize your complete heal bot potential. So watch this over here. It's a messy fight. Mauga's coming in. D.Va's a little bit out of position. I'm trying to pocket my, Bastion over here. The Orbital Ray comes online. Throw the speed up as well. And look at that. We're able to stay alive so well. The Orbital Ray keeping us alive through the Transcendence. We even confirmed the kill over there on the Soldier. Unfortunately, our 𝐒𝐿𝐄 gives her life in an aid to stop the Soldier 76. So here's an example of Orbital Ray that I really want to talk about, is utilizing it on defense in order to draw out fights. You can use it to re-engage. You can also use it defensively. Over here, I'll be doing a little bit of both. It's going to be used defensively to counter the fact that the enemy is using their Orbital Ray, and hopefully also to enable my teammates. So check this out real quick. Give my teammates the Pulsar Torpedoes, then activate the Orbital Ray. It should enable Genji, and look at that, Genji is getting the assist from it, if I'm not mistaken. I kind of just go in to try and apply some poke to the enemy supports, hopefully to force them out, and my Orbital Ray does more than enough in my absence to keep my team in that fight. So that's definitely something that Orbital Ray can do. It gives you as a player some breathing room to go and do what you want, and allows your team to go in and do something that allows them to pop off. So definitely enable the Genji over there. The assists are a little bit bugged. Not gonna lie, the assists are just a little bit bugged. So keep an eye out for that. It's not appropriately showing it. They said that they've acknowledged that, and they will they will fix that in the near future. But that is it, guys. Honestly, the guide isn't really that overly complex and complicated. Juno is really simple and straightforward. Like I said, her playstyle can just be boiled down to a very effective heal bot that is really fun to play. It's kind of crazy that you can even make heal bots really fun to play. I am in this weird area where perhaps I would like it if maybe she did have a little bit more potential to do damage, but at the same time I'm like, it's okay. I think the character's fine as she is. Also dropped my speedrun over there, hopefully to get my team out, but they just kept overcommitting, and so it is what it is. They are dive heroes, so they can get out. But that is it for the guide, ladies and gentlemen. That is Juno for you. Let me know, what are your thoughts on Juno? And once more, always remember that when it comes to the hyper ring, as long as before the hyper ring comes out, there's these 2 balls that come out with the hyper ring as well. Even if those balls pass through a teammate, they do get the speed boost, which is why she also gets the speed boost without having to pass through the ring. It works through 2 different ways. So Anyways, everybody, that's going to be it for this video. I hope you really enjoyed the guide, and if there's anything you would like to talk about in terms of Juno, her kit, what you like or dislike about the character, let me know down in the comment sections down below. As always, share your tips, share your feedback down below. I'll be reading everything. If you want to support the channel for free, all you have to do is hit like and subscribe. It helps the channel for free. And then obviously, if you want to support the channel financially, we do have a Patreon and channel memberships now online. So I will see you guys in the next one.